Welcome to the Paywall Podcast, where we discuss paywalls and paywall strategies for news and magazine publishers. This episode of the Paywall Podcast is brought to you by Leaky Paywall. Leaky Paywall is the most flexible WordPress subscription platform. Find out more at leakypaywall.com, where you can download Leaky Paywall for free. And now for today's episode.
Today, we're going to talk about why magazine publishers are not going to grow their audience as they need without nurturing reader revenue. We're going to talk about reader revenue for magazine publishers specifically. If you're not a magazine publisher, this episode might not be for you. Just kidding. There's lots of gold in here. But if you're a magazine publisher and you're printing a magazine and you're tiptoeing around reader revenue, or you decided not to really look at reader revenue, I'm going to make some of you a little angry this morning when we're recording it, because we're going on a rant. Welcome to episode 44 of the Paywall Podcast. I'm here with Tyler again. Welcome, Tyler.
Hey, Pete.
How's it going in West Virginia?
Yeah, it's a beautiful sunny day. Love it.
Excellent. Excellent. New Hampshire, we're finally warming up. We actually might hit 80 degrees this weekend.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I'm ready. Okay, so here's the story. I went down to the Niche conference with Jeremy down in New Orleans, which was essentially a magazine publishers conference. I did a presentation on subscription revenues to a room of magazine publishers, which was very, very interesting. And we work with a lot of magazine publishers on the reader revenue side of things and have amazing stories to tell, with successful stories on growing their audience and growing their revenues. And I expected to have sort of a similar conversation down in New Orleans, but guess what? I didn't. What I found out, to my surprise, was that the room had only about 10, maybe 15% of the publishers in the room were actually going after reader revenue, and didn't have plans on doing so, which kind of blew my mind completely out of the water. And what we learned, and maybe I should have learned this earlier at this stage, but we're kind of in our own bubble of subscription revenues with magazine publishers and news publishers. But what we learned is, and I quote this from one of the publishers in the room, I want to build my audience to serve my advertisers, right? So in other words, this translates to, I want to fill my CRM to please my advertisers. Now, I totally get that ad revenue is the dominant source of income, and I would never suggest to hurt that revenue stream in any way. But what I will suggest is that not only can you grow reader revenue, but you need to grow reader revenue now, or you're not going to survive, and grow your ad revenue. One grows the other. So if you focus on your readers and really take care of their experience on your website, you're going to grow your reader revenue. You're going to lean into digital subscription revenue, and you're going to be able to take care of your advertisers better, because you're going to be able to grow your audience, and you're going to engage better because you're taking care of your readers. Okay. So let's just step back a little bit. So what does your audience want? What does your reader, what do the readers want? They want a nice experience, right? It's like if you've been printing a magazine for a long time and you're selling subscriptions via print, you are offering a nice experience, right? And still today, a print experience is a great experience. It's a lean back experience. It's a relaxing experience. You like all the content. You like the articles. You like the ads that are in it. You like, all the editorial, everything. It's a nice experience. But on the web, the advertising, the pop-ups, the ad blocker notices, the autoplay videos, These are not nice experiences. So I'm going to lean a little bit into what is actually happening now on websites, which is causing real problems. And I don't think that publishers are seeing this clearly, because they're looking. The advertiser has your ear, right? As a magazine publisher, I get it. They're giving you big money. They want results, right? You're under pressure to build your audience, right? Collect as many email addresses as you can to please those advertisers. Okay. So, but hold on. Are you really growing the right audience? Right? Is this a long-term strategy? And so let's just look at an example. We're looking at a pop-up here. I'm going to pick on a magazine publisher here that I've looked at. This is somebody that we're working with now, and we have an ad blocker notice because yes, I'm one of the 40% on the planet that have an ad blocker installed. And guess what? It's 40%. You got to deal with it, right? This is enough to basically send me away. So you know what? I have to do work. I have to click this thing. I got to refresh it. It's like you're making me do work just to see content. And then on the next page here, I got a pop-up, which may or may not. Oh, here we go. So now I got another pop-up. It's like, come on, guys. I just want to like learn about you. But now it's like I have this looks like an ad. It's so much, I don't even know what's happening here. All right, we're going to close that. Okay, great. So the other thing we see is, browser notifications, like turn on browser notifications. You got to turn that off. Slide-ins or like email newsletter grabs. Now, that one I can almost support when there's a pop-up to get on a newsletter. Like that's, if you're going to pop up anything, that's the pop-up. Get the email address, right? Or autoplay videos. Let me see what else. I made a list here. The other thing, so getting away from pop-ups and such, is this flipbook and e-edition business that continues to persist. And again, I get it. You have your publication that is now in a flipbook or an e-edition or some sort of a format. And what I see over and over again is magazine publishers giving this edition away for free on their website. It's like all the content is just here. Now I gotta decline. I gotta click another button. And now I can go and read everything. Now I get it. You want your ads to be present, and that's the main motivation by having a flip book. I totally get it, but the reader doesn't like it, right? It's kind of unreadable. No one's really reading this. No one's actually on their phone pinching and zooming and figuring out how to like manipulate these pages. It's silly. It really is. But at the same time, you're also hurting your ability to get people to convert, because the content, what you're telling your reader is it's actually free, but it's not. It's your best content. It's your premium content. If you're taking paid subscriptions for a print magazine, there's no reason to not be taking print subscriptions to your digital magazine, which is not a flip book, by the way, or any edition. Okay. And let me end my rant on the content. And so it's like a big sieve, right? Like you're putting your content on the website in an old-fashioned format. It's just a copy of print, but it doesn't do you any good as far as like attracting your audience. It doesn't have any SEO value. People don't share these editions in social media. So it's almost like not having your content on. You get no benefit of having free content on your site, not even SEO, not even social sharing. It's the reverse of what you should be doing. Okay. Now, the other thing that I'll mention here is most of your visitors are casual visitors. They're not ready to pay you right away. And your goal is to build your audience, and yet you have casual visitors that are coming to your website. They're interested in your publication, but with all these pop-ups and all this closing of things and turning off ad blockers and whatever, you're driving those casual visitors away, right? And there's a good percentage of these visitors that would likely engage with you, right? Give you their email address, pay for a digital subscription. There's a nice chunk there that you're just literally sending away. You're not building your audience with the right readership, right? So, okay. So what's the solution? I'm going to give you a little bit of story. We worked with Modern Drummer magazine a few years ago, and they were kind of in a similar situation where their magazine content was in PDFs, not flipbooks, which I would argue is actually a better format than a flipbook as far as readership goes on a digital device. They were selling individual PDFs. They were selling subscriptions to the PDFs. They were publishing a free news feed, which I know a lot of magazine publishers do. And that's fine. If you have free content you need to give away, great. But set up a registration to at least capture the email address. So what did Modern Drummer do? Modern Drummer did the work of taking the content from their magazine and publishing it in web-based articles. And what's a web-based article? Well, here, I'll give you another example. And this is a beautiful online magazine, ironandair.com. So this is a web-based article. It's just an article that's published on the website in a sort of standard web-based format. So Google can index, all this content, and I can, if I'm like on Facebook or something, I can grab this URL and just share it on social media, right? So that's what Modern Drummer did, is they converted all their articles into web-based articles. And we'll talk a little bit more about Iron and Hair in a minute. So what happened? In a year, the traffic to their website doubled in 1 year, simply by converting. What they did is they went back a year and they converted their past year of articles that were locked in their PDFs, essentially, onto their website. And what that did is it let Google index all this new content. And this is, by the way, of course, this is premium content. This is like the best content. And then readers found it and said, wow, this is great. And then they shared it on social media. And of course, they put Leaky Paywall on as the gate, metered paywall. It let Google in to index everything and let every article get shared in social media so that the receiver of the article could read it, but it limited the amount of free views and then ultimately encouraged people to subscribe. So this was a big change, and they had, I think, in the first few weeks, they pulled in almost 1,000 paid subscribers. And then they were really, and I don't know what they're doing now, but for a very long time, for years, they're running daily subscriptions in the double digits, and simply by pulling away a lot of this nonsense off their website, getting their articles into a nice format, letting Google add everything, letting the articles get shared in social media, and then gating the content with a proper paywall setup. Okay. So the next step here is we're sort of in the how category is, okay, well, you have this casual group of visitors, and a lot of them are not quite ready to pay you right away. And this is another thing that if you look at the New York Times and other big publishers have figured out, and a lot of the publishers we work with, we're really helping install now. And that's that's a way to capture the casual reader, and that's a free registration, which if you've been listening to us, we talk about all the time because it works like crazy, and you need to do it. And what does that mean? What's a free registration? That means, and let me go over here, is that you set up the paywall so you give away, let's say, 1 article a month or 2 articles per month. We recommend 1. And then after you get that free article, you stop the reader and say, hey, get more stuff, free articles, get our newsletter, whatever else you want to give away, by simply giving us your email address, by registering on the website. And so what you're doing with this is you're adding this layer, and it's a simple layer to set up, and that captures the email of what I call the super casual reader. It's the reader that's actually interested in your content. It's not a zombie, email that the pop-up email newsletters tend to collect. This is an engaged reader. This is someone who's doing the work. And as we're looking at here, who's, they get to their second article and they get stopped, and it's like, hey, you can't read this, but you can read this article for free if you sign up. And you force them into a registration. It's simple. You're just grabbing a few details, as many or as few as you like, and they register. So you're introducing a piece of friction and saying, hey, you can have more, but we just want to put you on our newsletter. We want to give you the newsletter, give you maybe a couple articles a month, or just a couple articles period, as Small Boats does. And you have yourself now an engaged reader that's in your free newsletter, and they're enjoying a little more content. And of course, now you can track their behavior as well. And this today is really the best tool to engage those casual readers. So bottom line is, stop driving your readers away with the pop-ups and the blockers and the browser notifications and the autoplay videos and all the ads and slide-ins and all the nonsense. Every click that your reader has to do to clear something away from getting them to enjoy your content is creating a risk factor for them just literally leaving your website. Every single click is like, maybe I should just go away because this is bothersome. And we're really tired of being bothered today with a lot of things, not just on the web. But time is valuable. And think about it this way. If you are causing your casual readers or your paid subscribers to waste time on something, especially if it's annoying, that is not a good relationship. Okay. So we've talked about bringing your content into a web-based format, your best premium content into an easy, mobile-friendly, readable format that Google can index, that I and everyone else can share on social media to grow your traffic. We talked about setting up a free registration to capture those casual visitors that are interested, just not ready to pay, not ready to marry you on the first date. So free registration. And then the metered paywall's job is to provide the targeting, the upgrade messaging to these free registered readers that are engaged, but in a nice way, because they've already opted in through a registration, convince them to upgrade. And that works. That formula works like gangbusters. And they may decide to register, and they may decide, and I know, Tyler, you talk about this, they may decide to just pay you right away after registering and thinking about it and saying, oh, this is great, I really want this. But a lot of them are going to not pay you right away, and that's okay. Now you have them on your newsletter. They're engaged with you, and they'll pay you down the road. There'll be a nice percentage of these casual readers that will convert if you take care of them with your newsletter and not annoying them with pop-ups.
Yep. I like this model mainly because instead of blasting them with pop-ups and put your email address in here, and they have no idea what they're getting into because maybe they don't know your brand yet. And if they're looking at your articles and then they have a nice little box after maybe one article and they see that they need to sign up for free to get more access, that they're a qualified, interested reader in your content. And not only is this good for you as the publisher for potentially being able to collect a subscription from them, but it's also more valuable to your advertisers because these are folks that are actually interested in your content. They're not just putting in an email address to close out a pop-up box.
Yes. So let's get to that point exactly. They're more interesting to your advertisers. So this is back to the conference. This is the thing I heard over and over. We got to please the advertisers. We need more ad sales. We got to make them happy, which means we got to fill the CRM. We got to get more readers. Yeah. And I agree, you got to get more readers, but more importantly, you need to get more engaged readers.
Yeah, don't fill it up with junk, and just say that you have 100,000 newsletter subscribers. If only a quarter of them are interested, then what do you really have?
Right.
So
yeah. And so I'm just looking at my notes here. So the wrap up on this is, what will actually happen if you do all this? If you set up a free registration to capture that casual reader, and then you nurture them with targeting, and you have your paywall provide that upgrade messaging over time, and your free newsletter is driving all those readers back to your content. Or every time you release a newsletter, it's more traffic back to your website and more messaging to eventually to upgrade for full access, paid subscription, all your benefits. What actually will happen? And this is what we see happen with our publishers. 4 things. 1, your website traffic will spike. You may double your website traffic. If you're not publishing your premium content on the web because it's locked away in print or PDF or e-edition, you may very well double your traffic. And think about that, right? And that's just that's like, yeah, you got to do the work of getting the content in the right format, but Google will reward that. And social sharing, it's your best content, it's your premium content. It will get shared more than your free content if you're doing free content, because it's the best content. That's what people want to share. So that's 1. 2, your email list will grow. That free registration is the converter, and it will grow with qualified, engaged enthusiasts. Sorry, I'm getting a pop-up from somewhere. They keep blowing out my topic list here. So now, when you have these engaged readers, now you can nurture them over time. But the bottom line is your email list grows. Okay. And then here's the thing. Now you're actually growing digital subscriptions the right way. And it'll become a major part of your revenue stream. If it isn't now and you're not doing it, it will happen. It will become a very important part of your revenue stream. Remember listening to Wired Magazine did a presentation at one of the old conferences, and the data point is you need a visitor to click like on 1,000 ads, like network ads, to equal the amount of money you gain by 1 paid subscriber.
Oh my God.
Right? I mean, no one's going to click on 1,000 ads. I mean, honestly don't know why anybody clicks on any ad unless it's by mistake, which happens to me sometimes. Okay, so we have 1 is website traffic spike. 2, email list is growing. 3, you have a new product that you're selling, digital subscriptions, right? A real nice stream of subscriptions. And then 4, this is what started this whole thing, is your advertisers will love this, right? You have email growth, you have website traffic growth, you have a better list, right? Of readers. This cohort, you have a cohort of paid subscribers to target, paid digital subscribers. And yeah, you might be selling print subscriptions, but there's a whole world of people like myself and maybe you too, Tyler, that we're not really big on print anymore. Used to be, but now it's digital. I have a slew of digital subscriptions to publications because it's efficient and it's the way I want to consume news. And you, yes, you have digital print fans, absolutely, and you got to serve the print fans. But there are fans that just don't want paper in their house, and so you have to give them a good digital product to subscribe to. So you have your revenue, and then advertisers. So bigger, better list, new cohort of paid subscribers. You get to track your reader behavior. You track your free registered readers. You could target them, find out what topics they're interested in. Same with paid subscribers. This is something we're working on right now actively. And let me give you an example of pleasing your advertisers with a paid subscription model. And this is it's almost like an orchestra, right? Like you need to get all the instruments together, right, to please Google and social sharing and build a proper email list and then target them and convert them. And it's easy to set up. I mean, this is what we do every day. So I guess maybe we see it as easy to set up. But it is. And you can simplify things by stripping away a lot of the nonsense on the website and provide this nice nurturing experience from Google and social to free, and then newsletter nurturing to paid, and then beyond. And there are lots of other things you can do once you have paid subscribers to upsell products, create products, and different types of plans. But here's an example of like what an advertiser would like with this model set up now. You have a free registration. This is just one example. There's lots you can do. Okay. How about finding a sponsor for your free registration, right? So we have a publisher in Australia that's doing this, been doing this for a while successfully. So think about it. I come here to, let's go back to small boats here. And I get this message that says, hey, read this article for free. How about if this, we call this a subscription message or the subscription nag, because you're nagging a bit. What if this had like sponsored by? So you like free content sponsored by, and then one of your sponsors right here. And people are triggering this. Like if you're stopping readers after one or two reads, this is getting triggered all the time. And it's right in content. It works great on mobile, and you have your sponsored by. And then, okay, great. So I'm actually going to go sign up. Okay, again, now you have a second point of contact, sponsored by. You have somebody who's sponsoring the free articles in the newsletter. Okay, great. So then it's sponsored by you. If I fill this out and with Leaky Paywall, we'll take the reader back to the article they were reading, we'll unlock it, and we can deliver additional messaging. Like in a little bar, it says, hey, thanks for joining. Keep in mind, this is sponsored by. There's another point of contact for the advertiser. And then you have your free newsletter. You have this list that's building nicely of really qualified, engaged readers. And you have a free newsletter segment in your email software. And now that entire segment can be sponsored by direct marketing. This content and newsletter is sponsored by. I mean, that's just one example of how you can work advertisers into a reader revenue system. Okay. I think I'm ready to end my rant here. I may have offended some of you, and I apologize for that. But we've been doing this for a fair amount of time. We've been working with a lot of publishers across the spectrum, a lot of magazine publishers. And quite frankly, I was pretty surprised at how behind magazine publishers in general are at really nurturing reader revenue.
Yeah. Well, and overall, this diversifies your whole, your revenue streams, because, your advertisers are your main source, but what happens if they decide, we're not going to spend money with you anymore? now you built this entire platform perfect for them, and you have nothing left. So it's important to do this, if nothing more than just to diversify your revenue a bit.
Yep, exactly. All right. Well, we're going to end this here. Thanks for listening to the rant. If you made it this far, if you want to talk about your subscriptions and growing them, or even if you want to talk about your advertising and growing them through this model, please reach out. Catch you later, Tyler.
Yeah.
See you next time.
Thanks for listening to the Paywall Podcast. If you'd like to get in touch to discuss subscription strategy, go to leakypaywall.com. See you next time.